should be good. Double check, make sure everything is running. Like, right when I get the start of my cat, so I can stand right in front of the screen. Excuse me, buddy. Progress. Go ahead, buddy. Oh, he is giving me a little other thing now.
Jeff comes out in about 8 minutes, so we got time to get stuff set up. And hopefully get it to the Jeff. I don't know exactly what his whole role in this scenario is, because the odd character has sprung into this. Come in and chat while we get this next chapter rolling up, and I mean, my ultimate hope is that the chapter's going. Like, I get a know it's going to bring the chapter cool. But let's see how this goes. There's going to be a lot of hype. What Celine's response is. I feel like a fight between Celine and Kyria, like a full-scale battle is kind of cool. But I think it's fantastic. What's up, Kyria? How are you doing? What's going on this morning? My guess is like it has something to do for Ignia of like maybe he's trying to find out something with the heart, like there's something he's trying to do it. Like it's something to do with the heart, but maybe what he's looking for is something completely different than what Celine is looking for. Or maybe there's something specifically with Doberman that or maybe Elisaria. Maybe he's appeasing Elisaria. Like maybe, like who knows? Like Elisaria is still like a weird character, and I still have my suspicions of him. But it's like Ignia has some form of thing with him. So it's just like what exactly is it? Like what exactly is it going to play out? What exactly is like what is his large scale plot aspect outside of Natsu's? Like obviously we know how he relates to Natsu. But for the large scale story, we don't know any of his motives. He just wants to fight Natsu and stuff. We don't know if he's got anything else going on. I assume he's got to have something. He's got to have his own personal stuff besides just wanting a good battle. Like there's things that he has to do in the story to make like events actually move forward. Is this too loud? Okay, I'm just gonna turn the music off then. Oh, okay. I hit the wrong thing to mute. That's my fault. I think I had the wrong gauge for like my thing for music. Let me try and turn the music back on actually real quick and see if it works this way. I think I just messed it up a little bit. Let me see if it's if it kind of just barely makes it through. Is that better with the music? Like, tell me if this is better. I know it's not going to be, like, until, like, 30 seconds or something, but tell me if it's better. I think I just, I turned down the wrong thing. I think I turned my mic audio down instead of my music audio down by mistake. Yeah, so just tell me if you can hear me now. Luckily, we got this fixed before the chapter comes out, because we got about 2 minutes, and then we will get to the new 100 Years Quest chapter. Yeah, so tell me, can you guys hear me now? I'll just wait a second because I need you know, the stream is like whatever 30 or 40 seconds behind. Oh, you like the picture? Yeah, I was just doing something goofy. I was thinking about doing something similar with Lucifaro to My Hero, with that scene where it's like everybody out there after Shigaraki beats Destro. Is that his name, right? And then he's got like, it's that big like barren like area, and it's just like a lot of negative space and like characters and just like flat ground, and just have Lucifaro standing out there instead. I thought that would be pretty funny too, just because I haven't done a lot of the edits for Black Clover. I mean, I'm primarily like a Fairy Tail guy, so I get it. Like obviously, like in terms of why one side is getting more content. I do a couple others sometimes. Andre Mallet, Claps Market. He has 0 feet so far. And on top of that, like the thing that is, it's looking dangerous for Lucifaro cross verse. I think he's fine inverse. But the whole fact that he's not worrying, like he's not dodging many attacks, and it makes me wonder, like, if he went up against somebody like Margear with Memento Mori hit. Okay, well I'm gonna open the chapter now. Let's see how it is. All right. So the cover, it's Wendy. She's riding on a broom, but Carla is like holding it. So it's like Wendy's just kind of there, which is even more confusing because like why would Wendy need this? But I mean, it's just obviously for the design. Okay, the first page we've got Celine, and she is like obviously talking about Ignia. She's making steps, so it looks like she's going to actually go and step in. Good. I thought that just made complete sense. I thought it made 0 sense for like in the idea that Celine does nothing unless this somehow works in Celine's favor. Like as long as Celine was at a situation and stance that was a disadvantage to her, then I don't know why she wouldn't step in and do anything, because we know how Celine works, and Celine's not a pushover. She's not just gonna let stuff spiral out of control and not do anything. She is equal to Ignia as far as we know. That there's still a lot of theory that Ignia will be the strongest of the dragon gods, but we don't exactly know how that's gonna be in terms of actually being the case and what is now the case. Okay, real quick, just because we got 10 people in here, we got 1 like on this. What kind of hurtful thing have I done to deserve this only 1 like? This is possibly the meanest number ratio. See, I know that I don't expect a lot of people online because it's an early morning stream for the chapter, and I know there's probably a lot of people either busy or asleep, but come on now. Anyway, we'll just keep going. Ignia is looking just pretty beefy. He actually looks bigger in the panel that we first get. It's just one of those shots where it's because it's drawn in a smaller panel, like proportions aren't as set. He just looks really wide in his shoulders. But Natsu and Suzaku are not looking in their best state. They're both sweaty and damaged. Ignia's looking fine. He just looks like he's like flexing a little bit, not really doing anything, and he walks away. That's exactly what I figured was gonna happen. I didn't think he was gonna fight. Because what reason would he have to fight Natsu and Suzaku? Why would he step in and stop things? Just for the people who aren't aware, because this is only the second time I've done these live chapter reviews, or I guess reactions rather than reviews. I will get to the comments, but I'm gonna read the chapter first, just because I want to focus on that, and then I'll get to all the comments, and I'll address any questions. So if you have any questions you want to ask, just ask in while I'm going through the chapter, and then I will actually get to them and still answer your questions. So just stick around for a minute and we'll talk about what's going on. Natsu doesn't really seem to be too bothered by it. Like he seems to kind of just be like in a, you know, a little bit of a uneasy state, but like not like he's like Suzaku seems way more like on the defensive, like ready for anything if Ignia does something. But I think Natsu knows that Ignia's not going to do anything too much. Like, because Ignia, as I mentioned, the easiest way to summarize it is it's not in Ignia's best interest to mess with this fight. Because the fight between Natsu and Suzaku, Natsu is clearly being pushed to advance his abilities, advance his techniques, and what he can do. And Suzaku is starting to get pushed now too, so he's going to be having to do the same thing. So it would only hinder Ignia's want for Natsu to get stronger to mess with this, because Natsu right now is going through the process of getting stronger mid-combat while battling somebody that is a strong opponent for him. So Ignia walking away, it makes complete sense. Like, if he just clapped both of them, it'd be like, why? It would literally just feel like an Ignia fan wrote it just for Ignia to do it, rather than what makes sense to Ignia's story. But yeah, Ignia walks away. They seem to kind of like try and say something to him, like, where are you going, or something, and Ignia like turns at him, and I think that he's probably like, in his head, he's like, what? You guys should know I can destroy you, and I'm walking away. I'm doing you a favor. He just looks annoyed a little bit. But Natsu seems to be taking it more as, like, he's grinning, but I think it's the Natsu thing where it's like a challenge to him. Like, he's like, alright, cool, but we're gonna meet up at some time and fight. Like, Natsu's probably like more embracing the aspect of fighting him and going in this battle, but obviously he knows that Ignia is like a dangerous being, so we'll see exactly how that goes. Like, he throws an attack at him too. He does like a demolition fist, but obviously Ignia is completely unharmed. But Ignia goes for just like a basic attack. He seems to be pretty much lifting his hand up. Why Natsu attacked him, I don't know. This is gonna be unfortunate. Like if I was Suzaku, I'd just be like, dude, what the fuck? Why? Why would you do that? Like, because now Ignia isn't like, I'm gonna destroy you. He's just like, okay, I'm gonna have to make you guys learn to sit down while I'm giving you a gift of not just putting you in the dirt, by putting you in the dirt. Yeah, he's like lifting just his hand, and you see like the heat like just kind of like burst all around him, and it like blows all the way out of the area, and there's like this giant crater there within this. Keep in mind, Natsu, Suzaku people couldn't even damage this. Ignia's casually melting entire areas. I think every character is lucky they weren't caught in that, because they'd be dead. I think that's just one of those big character things. Just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna throw this enormously gigantic attack, and you're like, wow, it's a good thing no allies were in that area. Like, it's a fiction thing. I feel like in reality, one of these characters would get caught, but not in this case, unless they're really lucky, because we know that this is a gigantic labyrinth, so there is enough space that they could be out of range of it. So it's just, again, just one of those things. I don't expect any of them to get randomly killed by Ignia for any side. Natsu and Suzaku are both on the ground. They can't do anything else here. I pretty much saw that was going to be the case, because why would they be able to do anything in this scenario against Ignia? But I'm guessing that there seems to be kind of like a calm nature right now between Natsu and Suzaku. So it looks like maybe they're teaming up. Like, they're talking. They're not like getting immediately back into battle. I'm guessing this is going to be the point where they're going to actually put down like their issues, and then after talking and stuff, realize it's a misunderstanding, because we know that neither the Fairy Tail side or the Diablo side is actually bad. It's just from their perspective, these are enemies. So once they get that out of the way, I think Diablos and Fairy Tail can be pretty fine, and like this could be the start of like where it goes, and where like these two unite the two guilds, which would be really cool. I like that a lot if that's going to be the case. But after that point, we get back to Lucy and Kyria. I was guessing that was going to be the first fight we were going to really see out of this one, like in full scale. You can really say like the Natsu Suzaku one was the first one, because we did get a full chapter on it. But like their fight was like, it felt more of, not to the same degree, but it felt like how Natsu and Gajio's fight was going before the roars happened, the roar collision, and then they're like, yeah, we were just testing each other at this point. Now we're actually gonna fight. But you can still say it was a fight. But I was guessing that we were gonna get to the Lucy Kyria fight as one of the first ones, I guess, at least. In this case, it's the second one if you want to count the Natsu Suzaku one, because that one seemed to me as the like, it's to me the most interesting in terms of how the fight is going to go, but it's the lowest level one because obviously, like, Kyria is not that powerful compared to the other members of Diablos. But she's just like going for attacks. Lucy seems to be just dodging them. Base Lucy is actually dodging attacks from Kyria, which is actually really impressive. She doesn't seem to be like, she's not like tanking them or anything, but she's dodging them, like, which is actually pretty admirable. She gets her clothes cut up, so it's like one of those things where like she did dodge and get no damage, but Kyria is like, but you didn't get away completely. I got slights. You know, I was able to catch up a little bit more than you were able to dodge, but still no damage. It was done, you know, in a fan servicey comedic way, but it was at the same time done in a way that's both impressive for both sides, which is good. I mean, but Lucy can just star dress and she's fine. She's gonna be okay. Yeah, she immediately does it. Goes into Pisces, or not Pisces. Goes into Cancer star dress. She's got her twin blades. She needs to go star dress mix. If she went into Taurus and Cancer, she would be able to have super strength on top of swordsmanship skills. So she would be able to theoretically match Kyria at this point. And who knows what the Star Dress Mix's additional abilities would be. But Lucy might just be waiting for that. I don't know. There's only a couple chapters left, or a couple pages left in this. Let's see. She's just doing her things. I think Kyria's underestimating her. Oh, Lucy got her too. That's nice. I don't think Lucy's ever done that before. She like brings out her blades and they have a short clash, and Kyria has the same, like, her clothes cut up without realizing it, you know, kind of moment. I don't think Lucy's ever done that. That's happened to Lucy a couple times, but never before I don't think Lucy has done that to somebody. So that's impressive. So these two are right now about equal, which is what I really like. I'm happy about that. Lucy has Lucy is having a really good display here, and that was one of the things I really liked about this fight, because I knew that Natsu and Suzaku were going to be around level with each other. I thought that just made sense with feats and by the narrative of the story, and with the Urza, like all the other fights, we don't know what's going to go on with Gajul specifically or Gray. We know that they're in the fight with Misaki and Urza. That one's going to be really interesting. I think they're going to be, like, they clearly are, no, there's a bigger opponent than any of them individually, but there's three of them. And all three are pretty strong, so we'll see exactly how that goes. That one's interesting, but I think the Lucy Kyria one is the most interesting. The Laxus Kirin we don't have to think about right now because we know they're separated, and Haku's unconscious. So until something follows up, like, it's going to be a really intriguing first fight. I can't wait to see Lucy's other moves, because if she's clearly confident in her strength, she's taunting her. Like, she does one of those, like, little heart winks that, like, girls do in anime when they're like just trying to mess with them. They do a little wink, the heart comes out just to fuck with people after they school them in some way, shape, or form. That's pretty good. I like this. This is one of the things I mentioned, that I was really hyped to see how this was going to go between them. I wanted to know how, like, all the other scenarios go, but this is the fight that I want to see first, because it's the one that I would like to get to before I get to any of the others, because I'm very intrigued about how this fight's going to go. It's a rematch. It's a really good 1v1 for Lucy. We're going to see more of Kyria. Kyria is probably near the bottom of, like, Diablos members for me, but I like Kyria, because I've mentioned I like all of Diablos. I don't think there's been any Diablos members that I've disliked. There were members of, I mean, some of them, I guess, if you had to pick point characters out, like Grimoire Heart. Like, I like the Seven Kin, but I don't really care about Kawazu or God, I always pronounce Yawazu. I forget how his name is pronounced all the time. Those two, because I just don't care about them, because they were mad. They didn't have really any cool powers. They just were a good fight for Gajil. Whereas, like, you know, even the more boring members of Grimoire Heart had, like, Zoldio had interesting backstory. Whereas, like, I still didn't, like, I liked him in the story, but I didn't like him as a character, where I've liked all of Diablo. So it makes me happy to see any of them really get to do anything. I'm still wondering when Nibaru is going to come back, because we know he's not dead, and as far as we know, he's wandering around. Maybe we'll get him at some point. I'm really hoping he's going to do, like, a Gollum thing for whatever reason. Like, that's been my big fingers crossed hopes for him, is, like, there's some form of plot line not the same as Lord of the Rings, but where we have like Nibiru like kind of crawling on like quietly in the back, stalking them for whatever reason. But maybe instead he wants to be friends, but he's acting like Gollum, kind of being creepy while wanting the ring. I think that would be pretty funny. I've wanted that since the idea of like him becoming an ally has happened, where Diablo's kind of abandoned him. I'm really hoping that happens. So let me get to some of the comments in the chat. We'll talk about stuff for you know, a good while. I'm excited because I have this chapter coming out, and then we'll look at Eden Zero and Four Nights too. I think we'll do that probably in this stream. I really want to get the chapter review for Four Nights out before Quan this week. I don't know, because Quan seems to have a direct contact for the series, so unless he's busy, he'll probably get it out before me. But if I can get that link before him, then I'm going to try and get my Four Nights review. Like, the only thing that would take priority over Four Nights today is the 100 Years Quest chapter, but I don't think that's going to get translated until later tonight or tomorrow. So let me get to some of the comments real quick, and then I will get to I want to make a post, obviously, clearly Lucy's capability, and then I want to get to the Four Nights chapter, because I want to see what's going on with Lancelot. He's interesting, and then Eden Zero, what's up with Lobelia, because I'm intrigued with that plotline. So let me see what's going on with the yes, music volume is good now. Okay, cool. How strong would Dadara be in Fairy Tail? Dadara, he would probably be like S-class. I don't think he'd be Wizard Saint level. He's got a couple, like the nanobot, or not nanobot, nanobombs. Those are useful, but that's like a hack thing. But like in terms of feats, he's like kind of like part 1 Urza and Scarlet and Nightwalker level, I'd probably say. Maybe a little bit above that. Not like I think like Edalus Arc Urza, though, that's kind of like a good gauge, because I feel like outside of the whole nanobombs that not Grand Magic Games, that Sirius Islanders could tank anything that Azuma has based off of her feats. Amy's looking fine. No, he's looking cool. William and Ward can both enhance the tree on Tinro Island to boost the guild. I mean, yeah, I mean, William would be able to make it bigger, I would assume. Like, he could probably just absorb the magic in the air and, like, boost the tree, or do some of his own tree magic to make it stronger. And that seems Zaku will lose to Natsu. I don't think so. Wait, oh, let me see this. I feel like that'd be easy with Diablos. This dude was making his armor harder, and Scolion was taken off panel. Now we have Kyria versus Lucy, of all people. Aku was taken out by just Wendy. See, again, you gotta look at context. Scolion and Madmal did lose, but they can come back. And then the way they lost was against somebody that logically could beat them. Kyria and Lucy aren't weak. Just because they're in the lower areas of their respective groups doesn't mean they're weak. Look at the bigger people in their groups they have to compare to. And then look at all the people that are still stronger than in the verse as a whole. Like, they're still really powerful. Kyria versus Lucy, I think it's going to be a really good fight, because it's going to show a lot of growth for Lucy, and it's going to have a good display of Kyria. And now we're going to actually see Kyria in I think, a good fight. Because an equal fight for Kyria is where we're going to see more out of Kyria than just Kyria acting like a wild animal. Because I think the only problem with Kyria's character is we haven't gotten much of her in depth. We understand, like, how she has, like, her general grasp on, like, you know, on wanting to have a sword fight and stuff. Like, the only things outside of it is, like, that kind of clear, like, ecstasy thrill she gets in sword fights, and then her having fallen in love with Laxus, I think, is an interesting plotline, because it shows a human side to her. But I'm hoping we see more out of her in this. But yeah, she's definitely not weak, and neither is Lucy. Like, Lucy beat one of the Moonlight divinities, like the same tier of people that Urza and Grey fought. Like, she's not weak. Just because she's not on level with them doesn't mean she's weak. Like, Lucy's problem, like, that she's always had is she's actually been, like, growing pretty powerfully, like, relative throughout the entire series. But she's always up, like, against people who are, like, bigger threats. Like, people who are supposed to be, like, fights for Natsu, Grey, and Urza level people, which is similar to what happened with like Wendy. They just end up getting in over their heads. They're not fighting people at their level all the time, whereas like Natsu, Grey, Urza do way more often. And I don't think Suzaku's going to lose to Natsu because it looks like they're teaming up. I do think Suzaku would lose to Natsu if Suzaku doesn't use Dragon Force. Because Natsu can't use Dragon Force. We don't know Natsu if he can use any of his Aetherius powers or anything really beyond his Dragon Force at will. Whereas Suzaku, we know he can, but he's not supposed to because of their guild rules. If he did do it, then he would probably be stronger than current Natsu. And the thing about that's, you know, the obvious context between those two scenarios is first gen's advantage can use Dragon Force whenever they want. 5th gen cannot. They have their own advantages and they have their own disadvantages. So even though Suzaku has Dragon Force, we know that in character he's not just going to use it. You would have to take him out of character and put him in a scenario where it's literally just all capabilities, go in, do, and fight. Demon Dragon King at Natsu. Okay, I don't know why your name is. Is this from the game? Human Ignia, Labyrinth Wall, Suzaku, Human Sling. I mean, I think the thing is, we never saw Natsu or Ignia, or not Natsu and Ignia, Natsu or Suzaku hit the walls with any of their attacks that were threats to people like Celine. If Suzaku hit the wall and didn't scratch it with his Black Blade, or his Black Blade Slash, or is it Underworld Black, or crap, is it Black Purgatory Slash? Crap, I've completely forgotten. I think it's Underworld Black Purgatory, or Black Purgatory Slash, because both Natsu and Suzaku have Purgatory in their name of their biggest no attacks. I'm like 99% certain of that. I have to double check. But neither, and then like Natsu's Purgatory Slashing Dragonfire. These are the two techniques at that level. Neither of them did any of these all-out attacks on the wall, so I don't think you can make that argument. Natsu and Suzaku were, like, they did damage it, but they did stuff that were, like, they used stuff like Demolition Fist and his, I don't think did Suzaku use any named attacks besides his Purgatory one? I don't think so. Did he use, like, Underworld Circle or Underworld Drop or anything? I know he was doing, like, his general attacks, but, like, their general attacks like, they're not what is that level with, like, Celine. And I don't think Natsu or Suzaku hit the wall at all with that attack, did he? Let me see. I'll go and look if that attack hit the wall and did no damage. Because if that is the case, that's evidence for Ignia's human form being stronger than Celine's human form. I mean, that's an argument that I think could easily make sense. No, it doesn't hit the wall. So that's the thing that I think that completely cuts that argument. Because the only thing of Natsu and Suzaku right now that's at that level is their ultimate attacks. Like, the biggest thing they have respectively currently in their arsenals. I don't think Kyria is shown to be equal to Lucy. She should be closer to Urza or even Gajul. No, because we know that Urza, once Urza got past Kyria's hacks, that she was able to start really running over her. Same thing with Natsu when Natsu figured out Mad Mole. Both of them are above them. They just ran into, like, Urza ran into hacks that she figured out how to get around, and Natsu was fighting Mad Mole in a way that worked in Mad Mole's advantage because it was a compatibility matchup thing. Natsu, once he started fighting Mad Mole in a way that actually worked for him, he was able to beat like, Kyria and Mad Mole got back up, but clearly, like, Natsu and Suzaku were damaging them in their, Natsu and Urza, rather, were damaging them in their, like, lesser levels of effort. Like, Natsu was in base. He did use a Fire Dragon King move, but there's a difference between a Fire Dragon King move in Fire Dragon King move and one in base. So, looking at that, like, you know, and then especially, like, Laxus didn't get affected by Kyria's hacks. Steamrolled Kyria. Urza almost beat Laxus, and we know that Urza, not getting hit by Kyria's hacks, was able to overpower her without a whole lot of effort. So we know that Urza is in fact stronger. The only difference was Urza got caught in a hacks the first time they fought. I would say that Gajil and Scolion being around level would make sense to me, but I don't know entirely, because, like, I don't know if Gajil, if Gajil got if Gajil got ran over by Laxus, I could only see it if Gajil hasn't gotten anything new over, like, I know Gajil got stronger, but Gajil hasn't gotten anything really new over the, like, he hasn't gotten anything really actually new since, like, permanently new, not temporarily new. He hasn't gotten anything permanently new since the Grand Magic Games, because his other ones were temporary power-ups. He didn't have a permanent power-up from, like, any of his other ones. That's why I think Gajil really deserves, like, some form of big upgrade, some form of big win. But, like, at least looking at it from a current standpoint, though it's weird to say, I think Gajil, or Laxus could beat him without a whole lot of effort. I don't think it would work narratively like that, because I think Gajil would have something new, or get in a situation where he improvises and you know, something happens. Like, maybe there's, like, metal inside of the Dogramag labyrinth that he could eat, and it's like, you know, like, maybe it's something from Dogramag's body. I don't know. Like, maybe his scales are metallic because metal comes from the earth, and Gajil is able to get a boost from that. I don't know. I could see it. I'd be pretty happy about it if Gajil was able to gain some form of big boost for him that he could keep. But right now, I would say definitely that Kyria is not at that level. I think if you put Gajil against Kyria, Gajil is going to beat her with a medium level difficulty at best. Like, at best, I think he's going to be pushed to a decent level of effort. I do not think that he's going to be putting in a lot of effort, because he's going to be accomplishing it. He might be a little stronger. I could see Gajil a little bit stronger than Skullion, but Skullion is more hacks, obviously, because that's one thing right now that is a big disadvantage for Gajil as a character when you really look at him compared to other characters in his kind of like respective area in that whole Spriggan tiers. He doesn't really have any hacks. Like, Gajil's like intangibility and how easy it is to, like, for him to find metal, like, in reality, how easy it would be to find metal in most cases. I would assume that those are, I mean, like, those are good, but I would assume, like, that's not really going to do a whole lot when you compare it, like, the other hacks that you run into at, like, the Spriggan tier. Because that's like all of where Mishima's like, alright, I gotta make him really broken. Because you're having people with broken hacks fight other people with broken hacks. And the bad guy broken hacks usually has to be better, because you're only going to see it once. Maybe not once, but you're going to see it way less often. And this is like during the fight, that's like the primary time you're really going to see it showcase. Leopold plus General Seki versus Lucy. Lucy claps. Like, Leopold doesn't do anything. Lucy, like, similar to Gray, Happy, like, they have levels of heat resistance just from being around Natsu, having interactions and skirmishes with Natsu. For instance, obviously, Gray inside of Rufus's Karma of the Burning Earth, and he says that he's remembered, or Fukuro, and he's like, you know, he's remembered, what was it, he remembers flames hotter than it, or I thought it wasn't memorized. I think he says it here, just remembers it, because that's one of the things that obviously Rufus says. And then it's like, Seki's not going to do anything. Like, Lucy can clap them so quick. The ability to beat crap Rebecca in this chapter. So why was, for views? She's the tactor? I don't get Labilian's character so far. Like, I really want to know what Mishima has planned for her. Can Yuka Suzaki teach Asta his spells? Yuka? I don't really know who that is off the top of my head. Where can I read it? I read it off of the app itself. You can probably find it online somewhere. Maybe you go to, like, Manga Helpers. They probably have it in their Fairy Tail tab in the spoiler section. Really like the concept of Stardust mixed Taurus X Cancer. Yeah, you would essentially be a dual-wielding super strength swordsman. Like, as I mentioned, the danger in fighting Lucy is the fact she has so many tricks. Like, Lucy has so many abilities, and now she can mix them together. And right now, she's only mixing 2, but, like, there's no illogical... Is illogical? Or, yeah, illogical. I was, like, trying to think of a better word, but I think there's no more... Like, there's no illogical reason that Lucy can't eventually get 3 keys in a mix, or 4. Eventually, she can have all of them and have all the powers at once. Like, there's a definite spot with her ability that just has such broken potential and capability. It's like enchanting. Like, when you look at the other magics, like, Urza's is good because it's so easy for her to gain additional things and like the different abilities and stuff. But like it's the absurd. It's flexible, but it's not nearly as flexible, say like enchanting. But Lucy's is just getting to that like it's not as flexible in its large scale level because obviously like there's only so many keys. But like its level of kind of like matching capability of how many things now it's going to be able to just kind of combine and manipulate. It's going to be really wild when she gets up to like these higher levels. And I'm guessing we're going to see in this fight with Lucy and Kyria, like if Lucy versus Kyria, if she's able to go into Stardress mix and she's able to be in it similar to how like she's just in a Stardress where she's able to just stay in it, it's not nearly as much of a drain after all the Elentier stuff. I would fully expect like the next time we see Lucy kind of like break through her limits to have three keys instead. Like that would just make sense to me. People sleep on Lucy again. I know, like Lucy's actually really impressive, and she's got like really useful abilities. What do you think? May in the future. Wait, what do you think is in the future of Jalal? I've got a video on that coming up. I still gotta put that out. I'll probably work on that tonight. I meant to put it out yesterday. I'll probably work on it tonight instead, and then maybe post it tomorrow in the morning or something. Because I think I'll just kind of like do that for tomorrow, and then 100 Years Quest 102 predictions on Thursday or something. Because I'll probably prepare something from Friday because I'm gonna be busy Friday, and then I'll probably do like a stream on Saturday or something. We'll maybe like do have something to talk about. We'll hang out. Maybe on Friday, or maybe I'll. I don't want to do a stream on. No, I don't think there's any other ones I would rather do this week other than Saturday. Yuka Suzaki, I don't want it right now. I'll do it later. Jocelyn, just calm down. Is there anything else? Where can I read it raw? Not which website can I read it raw, not English? Just go to like Manga Helpers or something. So before I do anything else, let me go look at. I'm gonna look at the Fortnite chapter because I want to see what's going on with Percival and Lancelot and all. Then I'll go to Eden Zero. Actually, I'll go through Eden Zero first because I want to know how these went down, and then I want to kind of just like talk maybe a little bit what's left, and then we'll call it good for this stream. This one doesn't have to be a crazy long stream. This is supposed to be for the chapter, and then a little bit of aftermath, a little bit of chat. Oh, it's a color page. I like that. It's a pretty nice setup. Yeah, it's got a nice like cheeky double spread. I like the background. It's a really nice kind of like what's that? Is that turquoise or what kind of teal? So I don't really know what Labilia's like large scale plan is really going to be, other than just is she like scrapping with base Rebecca, who's not even really fighting? Like why? They're just brawling at this point, and she's having a bad time. I don't know. Well, like. I'm hoping after whatever arc this is, whatever disease or illness she's got, like we'll see exactly where that's gonna go for her character. Like we've got an interesting plot setup with Dead End Crow and Ziggy and stuff. It just makes you wonder. It's like, well, what's with the Labilia stuff? Because Mishima likes to set these nice little subplots into arcs, like the larger scale arcs going into it, so you have other stuff to kind of like have to pay attention to. Obviously, an example of this for Fairy Tail is like, say, Serious Island, you had Kana and Lucy. So we'll see how this goes. We'll see how this exactly all sets up. But I don't imagine that it's going to be. I don't imagine it's going to be like Labilia Bad 2.0. I assume at this point, like Mishima's going to like do something with her. It's going to be in a positive light. Let's see what's going on with Fortnite. You got Arthur doing stuff. He's in Camelot. I like just seeing Camelot. I think it just looks nice. Oh, the attack from Lancelot's attack made like a really nice like carving in the forest. I thought that was pretty sick. Okay, but I wonder what like I'm just looking at this right now. Like Percival's crying and like hugging Lancelot. I want to like I don't understand why. Oh, Donnie's dagger broke. How did he do that? Now Donnie's gonna get a new dagger. I'm actually a little annoyed by that. If Donnie needs to get it, because like. And Donnie's gonna get a new dagger. He's probably gonna spend some money. I hope he at least gets a cool dagger instead, though, like maybe a magic dagger. Oh, Lancelot's burying the bodies. I like that he uses a bow. I'm so happy that he uses a bow and arrow. Oh, we got Pelagard there. Pelagard, stop! Get out of there. Okay, it looks like they're in Leonis now. Actually, is that Leonis? I wish I remembered more about Seven Deadly Sins lore to know like where things are. I'm guessing that that they're there, but we'll see. I'll just wait for like translations. But anyway, I think Demaria may return. No, I'm fine with Demaria staying where she's at. If she does show up, obviously if there's a plot reason for her to do it, I don't want her just to come back just to come back. Just go on, I told you, go on to Manga Helpers. Natsu Claps, Naruto and Sasuke. Depends on the versions. Anyway, I'm going to get out of here. I'll talk to you guys later. Expect 100 Years Quest, Eden Zero, and 4 Nights today. Or whenever 100 Years Quest gets translated, so maybe tomorrow. But expect those. And then, like I said, Jalal video. And we got 100 Years Quest next chapter predictions coming up. And then we'll see what else I got planned. There's a video that I really want to do, but I'm waiting until like the summer to do it because I really want to make it nice, and I got a couple months to do it, and I don't imagine my theory, my fan theory is gonna get disproven or proven during this arc. So we'll see. Anyway, other than that, you guys have a good one. Let's do another one of these, obviously next chapter.